balls so dry, they explode like dust. Suck my balls, suck my balls.
You must suck my golf balls. Mommy?
Yes?
Suck my balls.
You got a lot of growing up to do, buddy. Suck my balls. Sorry I'm different, but you can just suck my clit and my balls. You know what? That would. Suck my clit and balls. I don't have to suck your balls. Before this day is over, you will suck my balls. Suck my balls, fat ass. I will. I will suck your balls, Kyle. And I will get down on my knee and I will suck your balls. I'll suck them dry, Kyle. Suck my balls, Kyle. Well, excuse my French, Mrs. Marsh, but you can suck my fat, hairy balls.
Suck my big balls in your hairy butthole. Suck your big balls in your hairy balls. Your hairy butthole.
What is that?
It's my balls.
God damn it, Cartman! How would you like to suck my balls?
What did you say?
I'm sorry. Actually, what I said was... How would you like to suck my balls, Mr. Darcy? Holy shit, dude.
Ladies and gentlemen, what's up, guys and gals? Welcome back to another edition of Check My Balls, a South Park review. I'm your host in the scene where air is clean. I'm lighting up the green in multiple ways. Your boy, MSG. Each and every week, I am joined by two guys, who like to blow a lot of shit out their ass. No rhymes today. Yeah, we're blowing shit out your ass. We do smoke a lot of grass. We try our best to complete the task. First up, ladies and gentlemen, he still has his Princess Candy background. He comes all the way from Arizona. Or as the goths like to say, what's the worst place in the world? Scottsdale. Ladies and gentlemen, time out. Jackson. Actually, before you say anything, I also had another one this week. It was like trying to do a parody. I don't know if you've seen that insurance commercial where they're parodying the song. And I was going to do it as like, scoop, shakalaka, 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 laka, scoop, shakalaka, laka, 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 scoop, there it is, scoop, there it is. No? All right.
I hate that commercial.
I have to see that commercial every day at work, so I run it. And every time I see it, it makes me think of Scoop. So, Joe, if you just turn a negative into a positive, it'll make you smile. Because every time I see that commercial, I just think about Scoop. And I go, man, this should be Scoop's intro right here. Scoop, shaka-laka, laka, laka, laka. No? Scoop, how you doing, buddy?
Bye, GME. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, that's great. I'm glad we're on a South Park podcast, but we're giving stock quotes. To start the show. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you've already heard his voice. He's freshly sporting the brand new threads because he's always fresh as well. Give it up for the guy who runs all of the pro wrestlers' entrances, promos, and will deny them anything he wants because he runs that shit. Ladies and gentlemen, Joe, Nola.
Yeah, I gotta remember I can start telling people no. Yeah. I always forget that.
Say no, bro. Say no. Ladies and gentlemen, we are a South Park review podcast where we break down and review each episode of South Park in linear fashion. And today we are back for season 4, episode 13, Helen Keller, the musical. It is, of course, our 64th episode overall of Check My Balls. This is the 61st of South Park, which is kind of cool. Think about it now. We have technically, with last week's completion, we have officially reviewed 60 episodes of South Park. That's a lot of episodes of South Park. I woke up this morning thinking like, man, if I really didn't like South Park, I would not do this show sometimes because I'm just like 6 hours of sleep, tired, don't want to get out of bed. But then I'm like, I turn on South Park and I start laughing and I'm like, you know what? I'm glad I do this show. This is why I do this show. I love Jetbag. That being said, it's an honor and privilege to speak to you, ladies, gentlemen, to be inclusive, transducive, interspecies, and plants. I don't know. We're happy to have you too. We're happy to have whatever you want to identify yourself as well. That being said,
if I could swim with the dolphins.
We are sponsored by thebakeboysclub.com. Thebakeboysclub.com has the finest cannabis apparel. As you see here on Joe, which will release this ad, he is sporting the Always Fresh shirt, which you can pick up nowhere, actually, because that shirt's a limited shirt. It wasn't even on the website. Joe got a shirt that's not even being sold anymore on the website.
Ooh, yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. I think you did get the rare one, because I think me and Scoop's shirt, which I'm sending out this week, the Versace, I think that one is still on the website. I think, the Always Fresh one, I think it's available anymore. So head over to bakeboysclub.com to pick out the limited apparel at times, because you never know when they're just going to put out a new design. They're not selling this particular shirt anymore. Or you might get it in a mystery box. Who knows? That's the fun of the mystery box. BakeBoysClub.com. Use the code SuckMyBallsPod. That's the name of our podcast, of course. Suck My Balls, P-O-D. And you'll get 15% off your order. So head over to BakeBoysClub.com. Again, that's BakeBoysClub.com for all my friends who've got dreads, who like to drive fancy cars like the Benz, like to get in a tour bus and follow all the trends. Check out BakeBoysClub.com. All right, let's get into this episode. Now, this episode, of course, is a holiday episode, right? Based on Thanksgiving, essentially, as this is when it came out. It premiered on November 22nd, 2000. It is titled Helen Keller, The Musical, and is, of course, the 13th episode overall of season 4. Now, the general story starts up as Butters runs in and informs the 4th graders that the kindergarten school play is a sight to behold.
You guys, we got a big problem. What is it, Butters? The kindergartners. I just came from their dress rehearsal. Oh, it's good, you guys. It's real good. How good? They got pilgrim outfits, and Indian ones, too. They've got singing and dancing, and boy, you've never seen such a show. Why, it's a Thanksgiving extravaganza. Oh, no. We can't be outdone by the kindergartners. No, we can't.
All right, quiet down. Look, we still got 4 days until the Thanksgiving festival. That's plenty of time to revamp our play.
They go through a lot of pain throughout this episode to make sure that they outdo the kindergartner show itself. So as they're rehearsing that show, and I mentioned Butters warns the 4th graders that the kindergarten class is an amazing play, that he even mentions, oh man, they got a musical, they got a dance number, it's amazing, right?
They got pyrotechnics.
Well, that doesn't come till later. I would have mentioned that later, but yes.
My bad.
It's okay. But he warns the 4th graders that kindergarten has an amazing play. So that this convinces the rest of the 4th grade class that they have to do their best to outdo the kindergartners, right? They don't want to get shown up by 5-6-year-olds. I mean, I questioned this right from the beginning, though, guys, because if this had happened, I know Butters came and told us, somebody should have gone and confirmed. Why did they go through all that and nobody went and confirmed again? Now, granted, Butters is usually the honest one, so he's not usually deceptive. You also have to question, and Stan should understand and question the fact that he played Charlie's Angels with them at Two Guys Naked and Hot Tub Meteor Shower trilogy and knows how those Melvins are. So he should have been on to the fact that someone should have been and checked on him. Am I wrong here, Joe?
You're not wrong. I definitely would have sent someone else to kind of confirm that, but at the same time, like you said, if we're going down the most honest students in that class, Butters would be pretty high up on that list, if not at the top. It'd be like him and Tweak. Tweak can get pretty honest every once in a while too, especially when talking about the gnomes.
What about Craig?
Yeah, Craig is usually a pretty honest guy too.
Craig is brutally honest to a fault, right? He doesn't give a shit. He'll just be like, "But I'm sorry you feel that way. You're wrong."
Yeah. Clyde is usually pretty blunt too, but
I would say, but Clyde is also someone who can be easily manipulated, and we've seen it, whether it be girls manipulating him for shoes because of his good looks, sunshine, sparkles, and then of course we also we know that he's a big fan of Cartman itself. You, sir, have mocked Cartman before.
That's one of my favorite Clyde moments.
Thank you, Dad.
I think it goes back to the one episode where Cartman went to jail. And
Romper Stomper episode? Yes. Romper Stomper.
And then and they were
Good
like,
segue, by the way, because that was I cut it out. The listeners didn't hear it because it didn't make sense, but I did at the end of last week's episode. And I was like, Robert Stammer. No, you're supposed to say something like, why don't you care about me or something? So like I did cut that out because it didn't make sense after I said suck my balls at the end of the episode last week. But good segue. Go ahead. Sorry, scoot back to Cartman went to jail.
and they were like, Craig's now the new fat ass. And so when then Cartman got back, he hugged him and was like, "Thank you."
Was it Craig? I thought it was Clyde. Actually.
It was Clyde.
It was Clyde.
It was Clyde.
I'm so glad you're back.
That's why Clyde loves Cartman even more. He doesn't want to get kicked out, so he ends up being the fat kid again. Well, in this episode, Cartman ends up being, I'd more or less say, I mean, he has his down points, but a very strong role in this episode for Cartman is Cartman is the director of the 4th grade play. So Cartman suggests that they revamp their play somehow after Butters comes in with the news. Now, class kind of brainstorms. They go back and forth a couple different ideas, and they end up going. Wendy proposes that instead of the dog, we replace it with a turkey for Thanksgiving. Helen Keller had an animal, right? And then Token suggests, yeah, we could have it do tricks and stuff like that too. And everyone agrees, and Cartman's like, yeah, that's the spirit, gang. So Cartman sends everyone off to do different things. He breaks everybody up. He sends Kyle and Timmy, though, to find a turkey. So they go to a barn, and in a Peanuts parody style. That's why I should also mention that as well. This definitely parodies a couple different things from what you mentioned before the pre-show, whether it's people think it's The Godfather or Goodfellas, type of killing scenes here, or in this initial lead up here, the Peanuts Christmas Classic, where they're going and looking for the tree.
Yeah, this whole thing is a Charlie Brown Christmas, no doubt.
Right. So they're mocking Charlie Brown Christmas special by going to the barn, and they talking to the farmer scoop, and the farmer says to him, well, that one? You don't want that one. I was going to take that one out back and shoot it anyway.
Don't say that.
Yeah, don't say that.
It's going to make Timmy want it. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So Kyle eventually concedes to the fact, okay, we'll buy it. And then the farmer's like, okay, $50. $50? We're going to go out back and kill it. Yeah, well, now I don't have nothing to shoot.
Timmy, if we go back to the other kids with that turkey, they're going to be pissed.
Timmy! Yeah, best you not take that one. I was just about to take it out in the yard and put a bullet in his head.
What? Oh, dude, don't say that.
Timmy!
All right, we'll take him. How much?
$50.
But you were just going to take it out in the backyard and put a bullet in its head.
I know. Now I got to find something else to shoot.
God damn it. Here. All right, Timmy, let's go.
I've got a one-legged pig if you'd like to.
Blow it out your ass.
I got to find something else to shoot. It's so good.
So he gives him the $50, and then as he's leaving, the farmer says, well, I got a one-legged pig if you want out back as well.
I'll blow it out your ass.
Oh, there it is. I'll blow it out your ass.
I'll blow it out your ass.
Did you guys ever do the farm experience where you go to the farm, get an animal, whether it be for a pet or to cook?
No. Not to get a pet or a cook. I mean, boy, I live down in Texas. There's lots of farms out there.
I went to a petting zoo once.
I've been to a couple petting zoos. They're usually on the side of the road in New Mexico when you're driving through, or other places. There was one
Rooster Cogburn on I-17.
There was a petting zoo in either somewhere in northern Colorado area or like Wyoming when I was driving through here. Like it was on the side. It was like a random gas station, but they had fucking llamas and shit and all those other things on the side.
Yeah, I think I know the one you're talking about. And then, like I said, there's like on the drive from Phoenix to Tucson, there's just Rooster Cogburns on the side of the road with their ostriches.
Right. So they elect to. Well, I guess I should say I've never gone to a farm to get a pet. We have gone to a farm to get some meat. Like my dad's friend years ago was like he's a farmer and a butcher. I guess he had a couple extra cows and offered my dad some meat. So, we went out there and barbecued, and then we left with like 10, 20 pounds of meat. It's pretty good. I think I got some extra meat left. It was pretty nice. It's big here. So I've done that, but I've never gone to a farm and, gotten my hands dirty and milked a cow or something. I'm not doing that. Anyway, so they leave and they take Gobbles. The good thing about this episode too, guys, is there's not really any alternate storylines, really. It's kind of one linear story, if you will. I mean, they have little side scenes about the character in the story, but really it's all one following one story you're about to play in Timmy and Gobbles. So they come back with the turkey, right? And of course, nobody is happy with this turkey, right? It's just like in the Peanuts scene. They kind of
you know how, Kyle says at the farm, if they bring that turkey back, everybody's going to be pissed. Stars!
They come back to the school and they, just like in a South Park, just like in the Charlie Brown parody, if you will, the students are not happy. However, as I was going to allude to before I was frozen there on Skype, they end up taking it easy on Timmy, right? You can't be upset with the mentally handicapped kid for getting a mentally handicapped turkey, right? They bagged on Charlie Brown in the Peanut Show because, like, what were you thinking behind this tree, you idiot? Of course, there ended up being a nice little story to it. In this case, Timmy was able to identify, sympathize, and of course, the farmer mentioned that they were going to take it out back and shoot it. So he created a bond right away with Gobbles.
Guys, I want you all to meet Jeffrey Maynard. He's South Park's biggest expert on musical theater, and he played the lead in Les Miserables at the Denver Community Playhouse for 5 weeks.
Awesome. Do you think we can make up a good Thanksgiving play in 4 days?
I would swear it on my life. Your play shall want for nothing.
Hooray!
Now, the first thing any good musical needs is a big opening number. Something that sets up the entire show.
All right, places, everybody. Bring in the turkey. What the hell is that?
It's a turkey.
His name is Gobbles.
Gobbles!
And where, pray, is our beautiful trick-performing turkey?
We sort of spent all the money on this one.
Gobbles!
Cal, can I talk to you over here for a second? Cal, why do you do these things to me?
So they brought the turkey back, and, well, now they're looking for an alternative, right? So they're like, well, because what I also failed to mention here is to turn this into a musical, Cartman goes and enlists the help of a director or actor, but like the way they introduce him, they're like, he spent 5 weeks at the lead for the Denver Community Theater House. And the kids are like, oh, if I can sing it, I can make it. Right, so they got this guy, he just wants to sing throughout the whole episode, and he's got some funny parts, but he comes in and he informs them that he has a friend through my years on Broadway. After just being introduced to a 5-week singer, he apparently knows a famous turkey trainer and turkey itself. So he goes and he, if you will, tries to go get a replacement turkey. While that's going on, of course, Timmy's bonding with his turkey, right? Goes home. He's like laying at night with his turkey, and the turkey jumps up on his bed and sleeps with him, and they, try to be all cute about it. A little cute moment, if you will.
Puts like the arm over him.
Right. We go back to school the next day. They're rehearsing, if you will. Then the turkey, the sophisticated turkey, shows up. Fucking gets out of the cage and shit, and it's all like fancy. Like it's all like a fancy turkey and shit. Wow, that's the most beautiful turkey I've ever seen. Oh, does it do tricks? It does not do tricks. It does feats.
Tonight we present the story of a courageous girl and her fight against depression. Oppression! Oppression. Our play begins in a simpler time, Alabama, in the late 1800s.
1800s, Alabama, what a great place and time. We're so happy that we live in 1800s Alabama, cause it's sunny and there is no crime.
Now to the refrain.
And in her little town of 1800s Alabama, there's a family by the name of Keller. Their daughter's deaf and mute and blind as a bat, but her parents can't even tell her.
Excuse me, I am Lamont, the animal trainer.
Oh, cool, he's here. Awesome. Do you have a turkey that can do tricks?
Up. Do not call them tricks. She's a very sensitive turkey. She performs feats, not tricks. Ladies and gentlemen, may I present the most beautiful bird in America. 4-time prize winner, the National Western Stock Show, and reigning poster child of turkeylovers.com. I give you Alanicia.
feathers are beautiful. That's the prettiest turkey I ever saw.
Of course she is.
My turkey does feats. She does not do tricks. So when the other turkey, though, finds out that Gobbles is there, the turkey starts freaking out because apparently the turkey's a diva and the turkey doesn't work well with other turkeys. All I got to say is there's a bunch of jive turkeys walking around this episode of South Park.
Jive-ass turkey.
So from there, the turkeys itself, Cartman is he's talking with the director because the turkey is upset now and it's shitting all over the dressing room. And Cartman's like, look, help me out here. I got it. And I'm quoting Cartman. I got to take care of the retarded turkey here. What am I supposed to do? Tell me how I can fix the situation. And the guy immediately jumps to kill the turkey. Like, it's not even like get it kidnapped or like give it away to a better person. No, kill the turkey. But the great thing is Cartman just no-sells the shit out of this. Like, he's already thought of that. You can't do that, bro. Like in a pit top.
All right.
Dude, we need your turkey for our play.
She's not coming out. She's very upset. She's pooped all over the room.
I know, but listen. Let me try to explain the position I'm in here. The retarded turkey belongs to our friend Timmy, and Timmy's the only person who knows the part of Helen Keller. So tell me what I can do here to make everybody happy.
Kill the other turkey.
I can't, dude. Timmy has a boner for it.
No, I can't do that, bro.
Like, Cartman at this point has already thought about it, but he knows the ramifications would not end well if his lead, who, is apparently the only one that knows the part.
Right.
They mentioned that as well. They were like, well, just get rid of the turkey, Timmy. He can't be in the play. And Stan's like, dude, don't piss him off. He's the only one that knows all the lines to Helen Keller. And then it goes back to Timmy and his little dress and wig, and he's like, Timmy. He's like, yeah, bitch.
And I mean, the joke in that is even better too, because it's like Timmy knows all the lines for a deafblind. Like she's deaf, mute, and blind.
Right. Well, apparently Timmy's the expert at it. So,
apparently,
we'll find out that anybody apparently can play Helen Keller's part in a 4th grade play later on in this episode, as Cartman does eventually concede to the director and tries to rig the lights to kill this turkey. So much so that he stops the middle of them singing "Water, Helen, water," and he does some new blocking and tries to put the turkey in a particular position. And after putting the turkey in a particular position, he pulls the rope, but the rope kills Kenny. So this will be a good opportunity to inform the listeners. Normally we do a weekly segment, if this is your first time listening to share the last couple episodes, because it's happened, called What Did Kenny Say?, where we recite and tell you all the words and lingo and verbiage Kenny used in this episode. Kenny did not have one line in this episode. I know, Joe, I saw your research there, and I watched the episode twice. He didn't have one line because he might have sang with everybody else, but it wouldn't have been an actual line.
Right.
What he was singing at that point. So Kenny did not have any lines. He dies. Now as that happens, the musical director gets up and he runs over to Kenny and he starts singing, "Oh, what life is," blah blah blah. Right? He's singing a somber song about Kenny dying. While this is going on, Cartman and the rest of them are still, trying to see what's going on with the turkey and trying to figure things out, if you will, because Butters now comes. He runs in again for the second time.
All dramatic and shit too.
Ah, crap! I must have rigged the wrong light.
Let him rest in peace. Let him rest. Why must he die?
They've got special effects. What, Butters? The kindergartners. They've got amazing stage effects, pyrotechnics, and what have yous. Why, it's a regular feast for the eyes.
Oh, no!
We're never going to outdo them now.
Oh, what are we gonna
special
do?
effects. Calm down. We can have special effects, too. Now, I know a lot is going wrong, but we've got to stick together to make this play work. All of us.
And into your hands.
Right?
You guys.
I do like the animation here. That they show Butters from, because they give you different angles from him running from the backside and then giving the front shot, the front side, the close up, and then it runs through the doors. I've just been like noticing little things about South Park the last couple weeks. I've been trying to like listen to like little nuances, like last week when they crashed Bill Cosby, right? And then they get out of the car, and even off scene, you still hear the door shut. I was like, oh, that's a nice little touch. You know what I mean? So I was just fine tuned combing some of their little nuances that they bring to the episode. But you are correct. Butters comes in all dramatic, like, and it's like, you guys, the kindergartners now have pyrotechnics. So it's at this point now the kids decide, okay, well, what if we rig the stage up with like water, right? And do a whole water extravaganza. And while they're going through different ideas again, the musical director in the background is singing to Kenny still about his death. And then they all look at him and he stops. Just walks off stage. He's the only one sitting there and doesn't know, obviously, that Kenny dies every week. So he's just thinking a child died, if you will.
Yeah. Cut down in the prime of life.
Right?
Bomb of his life.
So following that scene, we then see Timmy backstage with his gobbles, and the other turkey trainer comes up to him and convinces him that he is not going to be able to keep that turkey because people with mentally, physically disabled traits and personalities are incapable or incapacitated enough that they can't care for another individual, that being the animal. So they're basically telling Timmy that I'm sorry, that they're going to come take your turkey away because you are not physically able to take care of this turkey. So he convinces Timmy to give it away. And in a typical old school Casablanca 1930s, 1940s Western scene, they do the typical get out of here, don't ever come back. But it's not via Timmy, it's via gobbles. Gobbles? Gobbles!
And he's like,
Timmy. Right, so he does different things where he's trying to make Gobbles leave. Now, we should also mention not only is this turkey mentally disabled, but its head is so heavy that the turkey cannot carry its own head.
Right, the neck can't support it.
So he walks around with the head dragging on the ground, unless it's actually walking with it. It seems to have its head up when he's walking. Maybe it helps the momentum. But then when he stops, he puts his head down. So, unfortunately for Gobbles, he is abandoned by Timmy thinking that he's giving it away. So he's let loose. Unfortunately, the turkey is quickly snagged up by a turkey factory. It even says it on the side of it, like a giant turkey factory or whatever. Turkeys in first right now. So he gets thrown into the truck, Gobbles, and like all the other turkeys are wide-eyed and tripping, and Gobbles sees a sign. Why would you put this inside the cargo? But it's inside the cargo that has a turkey. And says all of our turkeys are killed humanely or something like that.
Yep.
And they were all like, and Gobbles just sticks his head back down. And so now we go back to the show, and again they're still rehearsed. Go ahead.
And 1 second, because it's kind of funny, like, because it's almost like Gobbles realizes what's about to happen here, because this is probably the second or third time in the episode that he's just seen turkeys being led to slaughter, because like he tries to keep his head up with the rest of them, and you can see there's like a brief second where he has like the epiphany of, oh, we're all gonna die, and then just like chooses to drop his head. Or maybe I was the only one that saw it that way.
I mean, that's a good take, because if you think about it, if you dive deeper, then maybe that turkey's not mentally disabled. Maybe that turkey's the smartest turkey out of all of them, and he's had its head so low because he doesn't want to get chopped.
Well, and maybe it's just a lame turkey and he's not mentally handicapped, he's just physically handicapped. Can we call them lame still?
I don't know, but I'm just saying, like, to me, I like your take on the thought of it being smart enough to realize I've got to keep my head low to the ground.
Yeah.
So I'm going to get fucked with. He's seen so many. Maybe he's gone through a couple of different slaughterhouse situations, right?
Right. And I mean, he was on the turkey ranch before, so he's probably seen what's
It's true. That's very true. So, well, the way they try to kill the turkeys humanely is interesting. Now, I have to imagine that South Park probably wouldn't put something like this if they didn't do some sort of research. And I'm not saying all turkeys are killed this way, but I imagine at one point or another it might have been done this way. And they have the turkeys in the back of the truck.
Well, I mean, usually when you're hunting a turkey, you cut its head off on a stump anyway. Sorry.
Right, I wasn't referring to that yet. I was going to talk about the hypnotic process here that it goes through. So the turkey itself get dumped out of the back of the truck through, the ventilation system into a room, and they're gobbling. And then the farmer guy leads them into a room. The lights go quiet, and all of a sudden, forest comes on, very hypnotic, meditative music, and it ends up quieting all the turkeys, and then a giant blade just comes in and slices all the turkeys' heads off. So my thought process in this show are there other ways is this considered a humane way? Like, because the turkeys were quiet, does that make it humane?
Honestly, it seems more humane than the way that turkeys are actually killed, because they're usually just hung from their ankles and get their throats slit. So, and without like being knocked out or anything like that, where like a cow usually gets like KO'd or gets like the bolt to the brain or something. So like this turkey sees the blade coming and everything, whereas at least on that one they got like to see the free range and they were like kind of distracted before they got their head chopped off.
Right. No, that's a good point. I was just looking at it too. I was just like, oh, this is kind of a humane way, I guess it would be, right?
Yeah.
To kill a turkey. Scoop, did you think this was a humane way to kill a turkey by relaxing them?
Yeah, I mean they got the thing right in front of them to watch. They're just chilling, get to have one last view of beautiful nature, and then see.
Then they get scooped. Yeah.
Right.
Now, of course, Gobbles, because he keeps his head low to the ground, does not get his head chopped off. So when they're all pushed out back into the truck to take for delivery, Gobbles ends up falling out between the factory and the truck. And when he lands on the ground, apparently Jimbo and his gun club just happen to hang out around the turkey factory because they're like, "Well, boys, a live one. Let's get it." So they start chasing after Gobbles to try and shoot him. So we go back to the play now. The way the director of the Silencia or whatever her name is, the fancy turkey, the trick master, the breeder, the way he convinced Timmy was that he told them that people were coming to take this turkey because Timmy had ran out. Gobbles! He runs off, and he convinces them by saying, those men right now are coming to take your turkey. And after they leave, we found out that they were just the water engineer guys. So later on, backstage now, right before the show's about to start, the water engineer guys come out and they're like, all right, everything's all hooked up. And Cartman's like, yeah, but it's shorting the electricity. And they're like, that's a different union. And Cartman's like, goddamn union mafia. And then now realizing that Timmy now realizing that he was tricked, that nobody was coming to take his gobbles and that these men were just engineers for water, he throws off the fucking wig and Timmy is out of there. So now, right before showtime, he's gone. And they have no Helen Keller. They're freaking out. Well, the musical director goes, I know the part. I can do it. So he decides, a fully grown man, by the way, with a beard, doesn't even quickly shave his facial hair, or something to try and look the part. No, just puts on the wig and the dress, and he's gonna play Helen Keller. So, as we mentioned, Timmy went looking for Gobbles, and when he goes looking for Gobbles, Jimbo and the rest of them, they find the turkey, and Jimbo's like, I get to shoot first since I saw it first. And he's lining up the shot, and Timmy fucking rolls up on his fucking wheelchair and in a Bodyguard parody, slow motion, jumps out of his chair. Gobblers! As Jimbo takes the shot, and it hits Timmy. And you just see the other hunters behind Jimbo and Ned like, they leave. Gobbles, not unscathed, wakes up Timmy, and he's only nicked in his arm. Still bleeding, by the way. They shot a fourth grader, a mentally handicapped child. But you know what? I'm telling you, too. This is like what this would have been 2000, right? 2001. He could have, Timmy's family could have sued. I'm just saying. But anyway. We'll get to, I guess, Timmy's reprieve here as Jimbo apologizes and says, is there anything I can do for you? And Timmy gets an evil look on his face like, gobbles. So they go back to the show. We see now the play starting and rocking and rolling. You know, the parents are kind of dismayed, like, oh, great. Mr. Mack is like, I swore I would never sit through another fourth grade Helen Keller musical again, but here I am. And Principal Victoria's like, yeah, me too, but this time I got really stoned.
Luckily, I got really
stoned.
So she is fucking tripping balls, and the show starts up, and instead of the traditional, slow Helen Keller musical, it breaks out into music. And Sheila's like, this is not the musical I remember. And Stan's mom is Sharon is like, well, yeah, I don't know, maybe it is. So we got the old man director playing Helen Keller, and during the show, the fancy turkey between the acts is coming out and jumping through hoops and pulls down a covered sign that displays what act or scene they're in, right? Mm-hmm. Well, at the conclusion of this play, now Timmy reappears, upset, obviously, because Gobbles was told to leave, and the breeder's like, well, the other guy's name, he fulfilled your role flawlessly. And they showed up with a turkey salute with all the gun club people, and they shot and killed this very fancy turkey. Cartman upset, thinking that now he doesn't have a turkey. Well, throughout the beginning part of the episode, or throughout the whole episode, Timmy is trying to teach Gobbles a trick, how to jump through a flaming hoop of fire. And in the conclusion of this play, he does jump through a flaming hoop. Well, not really jump. Gobbles more or less walks through the flaming hoop of fire. He gets over his fear. Just like he like slowly walks through it, and then Princess Victoria stoned off her ass. Wow! Wow!
Oh, wow! Wow!
And then finally everyone decides to go ahead and start clapping and shit. So that, and then, the musical director, he sings all the little parts. And now that I can hear, that was not so ugly. So that's how the play ends. So now the boys are, of course, thrilled. They put on this great play. They're like, okay, now let's see what the kindergartners did. And the kindergartners show up. It's a Thanksgiving table. Half of them are dressed as cowboys, and half of them are dressed as Indians. And they're literally singing a old McDonald parody song. And halfway through it, a cannon of confetti goes off, scaring one of the kindergartners. And they end with, Happy Thanksgiving! Old McDonald had, or old cowboy had a farm, E-I-E-I-O, and on that farm he had some Indians, E-I-E-I-O. Right, so they're basically singing about cowboys and Indians. Happy Thanksgiving! As it ends, because they forget the words to the song, and they're like, what the fuck? We worked our asses off to beat them, and then, like, Butters said it was great, and they go to Butters, wow! Butters like, wow, did you see that? It had a horse, too. Oh, man. So that's Butters, however, thinks the play is amazing, oblivious to all the angry glazers around him, and that is how the episode ends. So there's your episode recap on Helen Keller, the musical. As we mentioned, we don't have any What Did Kenny Say, so Scoop, why don't you go ahead and take us away into some of our trivia today? You got a short one. You have a short trivia too.
Mm-hmm.
Helen Keller, June 27th, 1880 to June 1st, 1968, was the subject of the play and film The Miracle Worker, written by William Gibson. This is the last Thanksgiving special until a History Channel Thanksgiving.
We learned today.
Almost watched that episode a couple days ago.
What did we learn today, Ian? I keep my mouth shut and paint the fucking eggs. Anyway, go ahead. That's a different one. But go ahead.
Yeah.
Was the first Thanksgiving by aliens?
Or was it actually haunted?
Dr. Broflovsky thinks so. And this is for the ITT Technical Instant.
This is also the first episode where Eliza Schneider voices Wendy Testerberger, replacing Mona Marshall, which would last all the way to Raisins.
Before we get into pop culture, I want to talk about Helen Keller for a little bit. Did you guys ever read the book when you were in school growing up?
Yeah,
I had to.
And I saw that, and after that, they made us watch The Miracle Worker too.
Did you watch the colored version or the black and white?
It was the color one.
Okay.
It was the Disney version. That's on Plus right now.
Oh, I don't know if is it the, I didn't know there was a Disney. Maybe it was Disney. I didn't realize it was Disney. I remember it's got a white chick, right? Yeah. Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. Mm-hmm. I think I watched that one in school as well. And then I think when I got into film and society class later on in life, I ended up watching the black and white version of the play because they made us watch, school ones like that, the movies that were turned into plays and plays that were turned into movies, if you will. But yeah, so Helen Keller, a very fascinating woman. She's essentially one of the pioneers. I mean, really, she's one of the first students to be taught how to overcome her disability of deafness and blindness, whereas her teacher, if you will, should be more credited, which I probably should have looked up here, is really the person who came up with all this shit to teach blind people. You know what I mean? And that
Anne Sullivan.
I'm sorry?
Anne Sullivan was her name.
There you go. So Anne Sullivan, who,
Anne Sullivan.
Who defined the system, which eventually turned into, the Braille system, and then what we have now today, where we definitely have made a lot more advancements in accommodating individuals who are subject to some of the disabilities. So very famous individual. However, I will say there is a lot of controversy that has surrounded Helen Keller over the years. I'm not sure if you guys are aware or heard anything about that.
No. I was unawares.
So there is a little bit of controversy that surrounds Helen Keller. First of all, Keller was supposedly, she wrote her first story, The Frost King, at the age of 11. And apparently that might not have been accurate as well. She couldn't truly begin learning or communicate until after the age of 6. So how would she be able to possibly publish a story back in 1891 as well as a female too? So there was a lot of different things there. All right, so here was what the controversy was, though, guys. And it wasn't necessarily a controversy, but it could just be a lack of intelligence too. But we don't use TikTok, okay? So we're not privy to a lot of things that go on. Apparently, there came QAnon and Pizzagate. Obviously, we know about that. But teenagers on TikTok apparently doubt the existence of Helen Keller. That was what it was.
Oh my God. Yo, man, we don't think she existed. Earth is flat. That's the latest conspiracy.
Yeah, it says, so screenwriter Daniel Kunka, who came across the conspiracy theory when speaking to his teenage nephews and nieces, said that there are proponents that don't doubt the existence of Helen Keller, the woman, but the fact that she was both deaf and blind, yet still able to write books. Setting aside the offensiveness of this assumption for a moment, the conspiracy seems to have started a joke. Anyone who has met a member of Gen Z knows that they are creatures of the internet, and as such have an almost awe-inspiring grasp of irony. They're walking examples of what has come to be called context collapse. And yet it does seem that some teenagers do doubt Keller's achievements, or in some cases that she was disabled at all. Some of the videos have been removed, with TikTok telling Newsweek that any post that dehumanizes others on the basis of disability is a violation of our community guidelines. Could it be that blind, deaf woman with most success in the life than all of us is too much to grasp? Possibly, writes one young woman for The Medium. Of course, it's a crazy conspiracy theory. But yeah, apparently there's some Gen Z conspiracy theories that Helen Keller was either never deaf, blind, or dumb, or never did all those great accomplishments, and that she's propped up because she's white, right? I think that played into as well. There was also other deaf and blind black musicians and artists and whatnot, and because they don't also get as much recognition as Helen Keller, that also plays into well. So it's an amalgamate of conspiracy and people feeling that Helen Keller is a symbol of white privilege. So there you go. Little Helen Keller knowledge there for you today. If you want more Helen Keller knowledge, you can go figure it out. There's movies, books, stories. Yeah, you can find it. So let me get into some of the references to pop culture here. So Timmy choosing gobbles mimic Charlie Brown buying that pathetic little Christmas tree, of course, in a Charlie Brown Christmas, as we mentioned. The scenes of Butters running down the halls are reminiscent of similar scenes from The Right Stuff.
Yeah, which is a good movie if you've never seen it.
Great movie, and that's probably why I like the animation.
Yeah.
The name of this episode and the fake beards the fourth graders wear are both references to the Cannibal the musical, which is of course the musical written by Stone and Parker, which we've mentioned.
Look, here hurts my face.
Here, Stan, I don't know what you're saying. Yeah, that's because the beard hurts my face. I can still pick up that. By the way, audio when you're sending messages. In the scene where Cartman follows Jeffrey Maynard's advice on sensory deprivation to get inside the mind of Helen Keller, the disturbing images he sees are similar to the sensory deprivation scene in the movie Altered States. I don't even remember seeing that movie. It's been a while.
Yeah.
Cartman makes a reference to Tim Rice being the lyricist for Phantom of the Opera. However, the lyrics are written by Charles Hart and Richard Stilgoe. I don't know. Stilgoe. The scene the turkeys watch before being killed is similar to euthanasia scenes in Soylent Green. Oh, there you go. That answers my question.
Right, and that's where the "we kill our turkeys humanely" came from. Also, it's we euthanize. We kill our humanely.
You're right. I saw that. That's a movie I haven't seen since I was like 12 or 13.
Jeffrey Soylent Green is people.
Jeffrey Maynard resembles Colm Wilkinson in voice and appearance. Wilkinson played the lead in Les Miserables. I can't say this fucking. Go ahead.
Miserables.
Les Miserables on Broadway. This is referenced when Cartman says that Maynard also played the role of Jean Valjean. Most of Maynard's dialogue is sung to the tune of the songs from Les Miserables. The scene where the show turkey is shot mimics the scene from The Godfather, where Sonny Corleone is murdered at a toll booth. Joe does not agree with this, though. He says he's sick and tired of it being compared to the scene, and anytime someone gets this shit shot out of them, seriously, fuck that. That's what.
Like, seriously, though, like, anytime someone gets a shit shot out of them, it's like, oh, yeah, this is an homage to The Godfather in 1972. No, unless he's rolling up to a fucking toll booth and getting shot up with Tommy guns. Like, the only thing that I will say is an homage was when was in The Simpsons, when Mr. Plow clears Springfield and like Bart just gets pelted with snowballs because like he's making all the same body motions and crap, and then Nelson comes up and throws like another 3 at his face. That is mimicking The Godfather. This is just a turkey getting shot up by Jimbo and his boys.
Get him.
Got him. And then the last thing here is, of course, Cartman has a Mr. T poster in his room. Joe finishes off with this continuity here.
Kyle is shown to actually have some rhythm in this episode during the rehearsals, while in the episode Rainforest Schmainforest, he was notoriously out of step the entire time. It was a running joke the entire episode that Kyle was fucking everything up. And then
there's a place in the world where it really sucks ass.
Yeah. And the next three are all coming from the same scene, which is probably the best scene of the entire episode. The boy who asks why his mom died is Kevin, the boy who thawed out from the snow in Summer Sucks. The girl who lost her dog is Heidi Turner, which Heidi hasn't been that big a part of the show yet at this point. And the woman who accuses her husband of cheating, as well as her husband, both appear as patients in the hospital, and Cartman's mom is still a dirty slut.
And while we didn't elaborate more on it, we should definitely talk about it right now before we get into the top likes. There is a parody scene here where where Gobbles, this is right after Gobbles leaves, right? Timmy goes, "Get out of here. Gobbles, Gobbles," right? So they do a pan shot where they pan from left to right side of the town, and then they start going through these different scenes or different dialogues with people who are sad. Mommy, why is Mommy dead? I don't know, son. I miss my dog. Why did you cheat on me? It's just when I look at you, I don't think I see her, and I can't ever be with you anymore. I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
And then it goes to that lady, the announcer. I forget what she says, though.
Have you made the right choices in your life?
There it is, right? Have you made the right choices?
And she just looks at you.
Right, and then it fades up into the stars. So that was a definitely a nice little parody scene of like a mix of a sad death scene and paid programming. Because usually somebody sells you something after that, like have you done all the, or like go to church or something. Have you done all the things in your life?
Brought to you by the Foundation for a Better Life, or
Jesus.
The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
Jesus. All right, well, let's go ahead and now get into wrap up this episode here, as I know Scoop's got about 20 minutes left here. We got top likes. Shouldn't take us that long to get through this, but Joe, tell us some of your top likes. They're basically all of ours, because your top are pretty much all of our tops.
Right, this is why I got in there last night to get them all in. Principal Victoria, luckily I got really stoned before this. I had to get really stoned before this because that's the only way I could get through this one. But like Principal Victoria saying what I was thinking just made me laugh.
Before you go on, I just want to jump in really quick too. This is relatable in any context, because I know we've all been to either shows, movies, or events where we're like, how the fuck am I going to get through this? All right, I got to get really fucking big for this one. And the great thing about this is also on Thanksgiving. So I know you've also had where you're about to go hang out with your family for Thanksgiving, and maybe you walk off with your cousin down the street.
Yeah, it's what I did at Christmas with my cousin. Like, yo, let's take a walk. He's
safety meeting?
Yes. Safety meeting indeed, yeah.
Yeah, so I've done that multiple times. Those are actually fun, though, because then you come back to the party and no one knows that you're really baked, but there might be some people who know that you're baked. But then you're fucking hella fucking sloshed, so you fucking just chow down on some turkey. It's fucking great.
Exactly. It's like my mom knows what we did, but she doesn't care.
So the great thing is at my house, I mean, as I mentioned, my family's pretty much full of hippies, so I'm not going to throw every family member under the bus, but they know that we do it, and there are certain family members as well who are partake in the said activity as well. So it's pretty chill because everybody doesn't care. We don't really have to go anywhere to do it. We could just do it there. It's nice. On the patio, you know what I'm saying? But
yeah.
We don't have to like go for a walk or anything. You know what I mean? So,
right.
The next one I'm going to go ahead and steal from you. I'm going to read it. Since we just said it, have you made the right choices in your life? The whole fucking montage, of course. You mentioned Chef's Kiss?
No, I just like, mwah. Like, it just made...
Oh, gotcha. Okay. And then, of course, pretty much anything related to... Go ahead, Scoop. You've been doing it all episode.
And I did wind up adding one at the bottom once we started talking about her. The show turkey has like the biggest turkey breasts ever. It's like they like gave her cleavage. It was kind of funny.
I hope they ate that turkey. You know what I mean? Like the great thing about that episode too is they killed the turkey, and I mean realistically, I'm sure that breeder guy could probably take him to court for civil. But you really couldn't take that turkey. You couldn't put Jimbo and them away for killing the turkey because it's a turkey. Maybe if it was a dog or something, that might be different, but the turkey. So. I put, of course, here Jimbo and the club shooting that show turkey. I liked it. I thought that was funny. And then this was a good scene. So when when Timmy disappears after he runs away and leaves, and finds out from the breeder guy that he was deceived, that he gave away gobbles for nothing. Right before the show, everyone's like, Timmy's gone. He ran away. And Kyle and Stan, of course, instinctively look over at Cartman like, what the hell, dude? What'd you do this time? And Cartman's like, wait, what are you guys looking at me? Look, I tried it the first time by lighting the rig the first time. I wasn't going to do it again. I'm not an asshole. So I just thought this was great here. Cartman's self-awareness. Like, no, dude, like, yeah, no, I tried to fucking kill him already, but this is we're about to start the show. I'm not going to do it again. I'm not an asshole. And then, of course, Cartman daydreaming, the whole scene there when he's in his room trying to come up with lyrics for his new song. And the director guy suggests like sensory deprivation, put on some ear muffs and close your eyes behind a blindfold. So he does that, and Cartman starts seeing all these different scenes, as we mentioned, from Altered State. And then after he takes it off, the director goes, well, nothing new I don't already see. Cartman's got a pretty fucked up mind, fortunately here. And Joe, you put two things here as well. Hold on.
Yeah, I already brought it up.
Joe, you put a couple things as well. Did you have anything else here you wanted to mention?
No, just the turkey's giant titties.
Giant titties.
All right, well, let's move on to our dislikes then. You put that you get that it's supposed to be making fun of Old Boy from Les Miserables, but goddamn is Maynard fucking annoying. You thought he was annoying? I thought he was hilarious.
Like, there are a lot of times in the show, and I know I've brought this up, where they'll beat a joke, they'll beat a dead horse so much that it just becomes funny again, and it just never became funny again. But
okay, all right, good stuff here. Next thing here, you want to talk about your second one?
This was another one, and this is kind of a shout back to season 1 or season 2, Mr. Hanky the Christmas Pooh. Garrison is the kindergarten teacher, and I think they kind of missed a chance to have him be as hard on the kindergartners as he was on the then third graders in that episode where they're putting together the Christmas pageant.
Oh, that's a good call out. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, and that's the one where Sheila gets all pissed off that, oh, well, you're having my boy in a Christmas pageant, even though Joseph was Jewish.
And then they go, as I look through the hours of time.
Yes. Yeah.
What the hell is this? Well, this is what you wanted. We'll remove Jesus and Santa. And yeah, that's a good, yeah. But maybe as well, Garrison also realized that A, these kids are, young, and B, he just went through the whole fucking voting fiasco.
Yeah, I was going to say he could just be so exhausted from that.
He didn't want to go through that bullshit again, and saw what happened when he was really into a play like last time. It blew up in their faces, if you will. They had to go through that whole thing. So maybe he just didn't really want to. Well, fine, let the kids do it. They can do their own stupid little play.
That makes sense too. Bad pie.
And then you also put here that you had to look hard to find things about this episode that you liked. Too much of seeing survived.
Yeah, it just seems like where things in South Park seem to be kind of naturally absurd. This one seemed like they were going out of their way to make shit up to be absurd, like the performing turkey with the giant tits, or even though that's one of the good things, but it just, and maybe it's just because I don't like Charlie Brown Christmas either that I didn't like this, but I don't know.
Interesting. Yeah, I actually do like the Charlie Brown Christmas episodes. I do watch them once a year. It's kind of like my thing. I do watch. I prefer the Great Pumpkin. Great Pumpkin, I think, is a funnier one. Just because he got Linus out in the field like an idiot waiting for a pumpkin. That's I put here as my last thing was I wasn't necessarily a fan of this episode in general. I feel like it's just a holiday filler episode. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There was some highlights, of course, as we mentioned, with Timmy and Gobbles. But the thing is, Gobbles never ever makes an appearance again. So, really, it's a filler episode. He's in some video games, and of course, there's the Nintendo 64 game where you shoot all the turkeys with snowballs. But there really ever isn't any references to Gobbles in the main storyline ever again. And so that leads me to believe either the turkey died or Timmy probably killed it and ate it. So there you go. That was your full recap, our top likes, dislikes. Now, before we end it, JV, was this in your top 200, would you say? Or top 300?
Well, I mean, yeah, there's only 300 episodes anyway. So, yeah, this is in my top. I think they're on 287. So, this is in my top 280.
They're on 307 now, I think.
307? Are they?
Yeah, they had episode 300 last year with Randy being ecstatic about the weed sales. So that was episode 300. So, so you were saying this is probably in your bottom 30 then?
Sorry, I was muted there. Bottom 10, honestly.
Okay.
If there's 307, then this is in between 297 and there.
Jesus. Okay. Scoop, is this in your top 200?
Yeah. Put it in the top 200.
Is it between 150 and 200?
200 and 210.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, I'm kind of right there with you, Scoop. I'm about between 200 and 250 as well. It's not the best, but it's not something where I feel like it's the worst episode. It's an episode that I do watch yearly. And maybe that's why, because I've already watched it 4 months ago. This is February we're recording. So, I mean, Thanksgiving was just in November, right? So I just got done watching this episode. It's my yearly episode. So to watch it again already, I'm like, it's not even Thanksgiving. But there you go, guys. That's going to do it for another edition of Shuck My Balls, a South Park review. I'm your host in the scene where the air is clean and I'm lighting up green, your boy MSG. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Matthew_Shaffer. Each and every week, I co-host with Ben Amin and Chris Silvio, Like the Fuse, an AEW podcast review, as well as I also produce the New Force Order podcast. When you're listening to this episode, by then, I assume episode 101 will be on the way, but 100 episodes by the New Force Order podcast. Shout out to them. I've gotten to produce now over 50 episodes for them, so episode 100 is up there. Probably one of the hardest episodes of New Force Order I have ever worked on, as I did a lot of work on that episode. So check that out, if you will. Of course, also check out patreon.com/TVRateTV, where I help manage 10-time tag team champion Hall of Famer Patreon's content, as well as twitch.tv/TVRateTV and TVRateTV on a YouTube. Joe, put yourself over before we go.
February 26th, Neon Lights Bar Fights in Denver at the Watering Bowl. Saturday the 27th, I will be at IZW Monster at Sun Studios of Tempe. That one is sold out, I think. March. What am I doing in March? The 3rd, I don't know what I've got going on. Damn, I gotta look at my March calendar again, but Primos Pro Wrestling, you guys know everything I'm getting put over by now. Or go listen to old episodes. If this is your first time, go back, listen to the catalog, get familiar with old episodes, and then find out all the shit I put over.
And maybe next week Joe will just write down what he has to say, and then he can speak through it.
I'll be prepared.
Scoop, who's been very depressed this whole episode. He realized that he should have not sold his Bitcoin and has been very quiet this whole episode. Would you like to say anything, Scoop, about today's events, the show, or anything before we go?
No, I want to be left alone. I have to make a call.
Scoop's going to go cry in a corner. Ladies and gentlemen, check out our sponsor. Check out our sponsor, thebigboysclub.com. Visit thebigboysclub.com. Use the code SuckMyBallsPod. Save 15% off all of your cannabis-related apparel. If you're in the Las Vegas area, I believe they also have a storefront, as well as they sell CBD. So check them out, bigboysclub.com. I'm your host again, Matthew Schaffer. We'll see you next week. Bow, shake my bow.
All right, well, if you got to get good at something really fast, there's only one way to do it. Come on.
The day is approaching to give it your best. You got to reach your prime. That's when you need to put yourself to the test and show us the passage of time. We're gonna need a montage. A sports training montage. Sure, a lot of things happening at once. Remind everyone of what's going on. And with every shot, show a little improvement. Just showing while it takes too long. That's called a montage. Even Rocky had a montage. In any sport, if you want to go from just a beginner to a pro, you need a montage. A simple little montage.
Looking for some new podcasts to listen to? Well, Rat Salad Review Network has plenty of shows to choose from. Like Rat Salad Review, where they discuss the latest rock and metal news, as well as interviews and albums. Album vs. Album, the King Diamond Podcast, with Wayne Noon, Greg Noggle, and sometimes this guy.
Smack 'em a gob!
Ralph Vieira is also on our network with the Vieira Vault. There's also Old Man Metal's Musings, where he discusses heavy metal and beer. Music is Life with Lou Mavs. The Right Opinion for those who love politics. A South Park podcast called Suck My Balls. The Infinite Fringe, a watch-along wrestling show called Beyond Bushido. Ex-Stradivarius guitarist, the Timo Tolkki podcast. And the great Harry Barnett with I Don't Even Like Podcast and the Laughcast. So check out ratsaladreview.com or search Rat Salad Review on YouTube, Podbean, iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, and more.